Hello. Okay. Thank you, Erling, for the introduction. So yes, I'm Alejandro. I come from Argentina. I lived most of my life there. I made Aliyah when I was 23, and I had my BA from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, and I served in the army when I was probably 26, and my commander was 18. Yes, so that was a very interesting experience. And then I decided to go for my master's, and I did it in England, and I think that was how I actually evolved into the fellowship. I have to say that when I thought of applying to the fellowship, I asked myself, why am I doing it? Why? What for? And I had some pretty good answers, but I think that today, a year later, I have the perfect answer of why I did it. And I am overwhelmed by how this year has affected me and has changed me. And well, people in the office know that I'm having a difficult time coming to terms with the fact that it's finishing. Yeah. So as Erling said, I traveled a lot this year. I went to Israel, I went to Belarus, to Ukraine, to Hungary. And when I thought of structuring the year, I thought, okay, I want FSU for sure, preferably during winter, and I want to feel the welfare, to feel the work that is being done there with welfare, and Europe. I wanted to see community development, leadership training, and welfare, community development, leadership are all very big words, and they sound great in reports. But I have to tell you that on the ground they're even bigger, and their impact is life-changing. And I was lucky enough to be able to see it. So Belarus was mostly, almost 100% pure welfare work, and Ukraine was a little bit of both. Was a very interesting mixture. And Europe was netto training with the future key players of the communities. And then I have to resume it. Basically, my year was working with people, was getting to know people, getting to talk with people, and most importantly for me, getting to learn from them. And so that's how we end up in Minsk. That's Minsk. And 2 days after I arrived in Minsk, I went to the Kabbalat Shabbat at the JDC's Chesed for Chesed clients, old people, and babushkas and diedushkas, and so now we're into the event. That the event is basically singing in Yiddish and dancing and telling jokes and reciting poems and just celebrating being together. My wife Susanna calls me from another table, and she said, "There's a lady that wants to talk to you." I had been in Belarus for 2 days, and my Russian was the Cyrillic alphabet, basically. So this lady Anna acted as a translator. She's 87 years old, and she's a former officer in the Red Army who fought in the Great Patriotic War, and she served as an English teacher for the Chesed clients at the JCC. And what she was telling me basically was that her parents lived in the Jewish colonies in Argentina, and that she was moved by my presence there and by me wanting to spend time with them. Immediately I understood that this was going to be a very special year. And it was. And so after that, I decided I had the honor of spending a lot of time with the survivors of the Shoah and righteous Gentiles, and my idea was to spend time with them and listen to their stories and get to know what they did and be able to one day tell my children what I witnessed. And it evolved into me looking for more excuses to spend time with them and approach it with pictures. And I asked them if they would want to pose for 2 pictures, one serious and one funny. And they were all crazy. Yes, of course, we'll do it. My Russian was a little bit better already. And so what you see is actually what happened. these are some of the pictures that I took, and I made them into posters, and they have blurbs of what they did, their stories, their bravery. And my idea was for the whole community to learn about them. This is actually JDC does it. The office in Minsk helps them a great lot and gives them a massive hand. And this was my way of saying thank you for what you did. And so they were going to be hung at the JCC for people just to see them on a daily basis and be able to thank them. My placement continued to be very special, and a couple of days before Pesach, I had to leave. My visa was expiring. There's very strict measurements in Belarus, so I had to leave. But it was just before Pesach, and it was a very special Pesach for me. It was, Pesach we say, Ma nishtana halayla hazeh. For me it was Ma nishtana haPesach hazeh. What was different in this Pesach? I had the privilege of joining 2 staff members from the JCC in delivering matzah. And so we went on an 18-hour trip to deliver matzah around Minsk and its periphery. And that was just right before Pesach. Here you can see the matzot boxes. And I thought that I was doing a mitzvah, that I was going there and visiting people that have no connection to an actual physical place that represents a community. But it was completely the other way around. It was me arriving, knocking on the door with people from the JCC, and they immediately hugging me. They didn't know me, they didn't know who I was. I was this crazy Argentinian. And still, it was the power of us being there and showing them that we are committed and that we understand the need for them to be connected and not forgotten. And we were just bringing a box of matzah. That was it. But it meant a whole world to them, and ultimately meant a whole world to me. This is a house where a lady decorated her living room with boxes of matzah from past years. This is what it meant to them. Belarus was a very emotional place for me, and I have to tell you that Belarus showed me the rough side of welfare and its urgent need, and its need even more today when Belarus is going through a very critical economic situation. And I'm amazed by the magnificent job that JDC does there in helping and strengthening a fully operational, very warm Jewish community. And from there I moved on to Ukraine, a very short stint, but very powerful. And the idea there was, the excuse for me to be in Ukraine was to go to Metsuda. Metsuda is a program, this is Metsuda, this is in Kharkov, and it's a program aimed at young people from the age of 18 to 28, where they have to work on specific projects. They go and they map the necessities of their communities, and then they create a project that they're going to work on for the benefit of their local community. They are led by an Israeli mentor and local enablers that provide them with the tools in project management, in public presentation, public speaking, in developing and negotiation. And they ultimately come up, design, implement, and run a project for the benefit of the community with the support of the community. So I spent with them a week, and the idea, I couldn't think of a better word than Metsuda to explain the project. Metsuda in Hebrew means citadel. The citadel is a stronghold of a fortress, is where the nobility lives, is where the weapons are stored, is thought of a fort within a fort. They are the last line of defense, and I think that these, in this case there were 34 students here, represent the future of the Jewish community. It lies between them, it lies in them to build the future of the Jewish community. I had the amazing time with them, and to see the commitment with which they were working was incredible. From then I moved to Hungary, and I have to say that it was a progression for me during the year, a progression where I could see the results of working with young adults, of working with community leaders, of building new community leaders. And Hungary was, let's put it like that, it's not perfect, I cannot say it's perfection, but it was perfection. Okay? And I arrived in Hungary, and 3 days later I find myself in Bulgaria, sitting in a room, probably this big, with 20 volunteers from across all Europe, and they are building their own event. It's called Geshe. It's an event for 350 people. Yeah, that's in Bulgaria. And the idea here is that they research the need. They create their own event where they look for topics, for Jewish topics, Jewish taboos, and they come up with seminars, workshops, lectures on a 3-day event for them, organized by them, for them. People from all over Europe, and it's them organizing this. It's not anymore we have, okay, a leadership program that we want for them to learn and this. They are already implementing what they learned, and I was blown away by this. The contrast is very unfair. It's FSU and it's Europe. But still you can see the results of what has been going on here. And when I thought that this was amazing and incredible, it got even better. Because I went to another meeting sometime later during the placement in Hungary, and I met the president of the Union of Jewish Students and the president of the Union of Swiss Students, and they were committing to organizing WING, which is Winter International Gathering in the Alps, which is similar, but it was not only this time committing to organizing it, but they were committing financially. Each organization was committed financially to partner with JDC in organizing this event. So this is actually what you want to reach to. This is leadership, and they were doing that, and they're bringing it back to their own communities and applying the tools that they've learned. And I think that is ultimately the whole message here. And I want to share with you a story, a personal story from Geshe. When I got there, I started talking to people. I introduced myself. They didn't really understand the connection between Europe and Argentina. Why was there an Argentinian there? And so there was this Bulgarian guy that we started talking, and I complimented his kippah, and he said, oh yeah, my mom knits the kippot, and she does it actually for the whole community. And I said, wow, it's very nice. Yes, it's a different style, mine, and it's particular, and she did it especially for me. The event finished on Sunday, and he comes to me, and he says, I want you to have my kippah. And I said, there's no way. No, it's yours. Your mom did it especially for you. There's no way I'm having it. And he said, please have it. It would be the most meaningful thing for me, for you to have it. And I have it, actually. And it's this. It's this kippah. That this is the answer to why I applied to the fellowship. This is my perfect answer. This represents to me the global Jewish peoplehood, and why we're working here and why we're doing what we're doing. We're all under this kippah, all under this same roof, and this represents to me the end goal of what we're doing, and why I went out in this fellowship this year. And I want to thank JDC, I want to thank the committee who actually chose me and believed in me, and allowed me to have this incredible year of allowing me to grow personally and to do what I like the most, to meet people and help people. And I want to thank especially Ralph. I know he doesn't like it very much, but I want to thank him anyway. I spent a lot of time with Ralph, and I spent a lot of lunch sessions with him, and I deeply admire him. And and I had a great time here. So thank you very much.